Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of math. We've practiced with making tables when I've given you kind of key information or those slope and y-intercept. Earlier in the week, we looked at making tables from equations. So if I give you an equation, r y equals mx plus b, can you turn that information into a table? And again, we're working with rise over run, and when x equals 0, y equals r, y-intercept. Today, if you can read from our title, we are making tables from stories. Let's go ahead and jump right in. I've got two examples to run through, 1 and 2, and then you'll be off kind of on your own and to practice, work through some practice problems, and submit your work. So at the end of this video, again, please submit your work back to the Canvas page. I'll get that graded and provide feedback as needed. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So we have our story. Again, we need to find two key pieces of information. We need a slope and we need a y-intercept from our story. So let's go ahead and identify what we can identify. And remember, if we think about it, our y-intercept was our starting point. And our slope is the change or the movement. So let's go ahead and find our slope and y-intercept. I'm going to keep my highlighter on yellow. Jackson has a garden. When he started he started his garden with 5 plants. Each week he added 2 more plants to his garden. So if I know y-intercept is starting point, I have a great key word here of started. So we know he started his garden with 5 plants. So I'm going to go ahead and my y-intercept is going to be 5, or if we write it as a point, 0, 5. Now my slope, remember slope is how it's changing. We look for our keywords of like each something. So each week he adds 2 more. So we know it's positive because he's adding and the word's more. So adds and more, we know it's going to be a positive 2. Now we have to put it all together in an equation. Again, we have y equals mx plus b. So we're going to have y equals 2x plus 5. So we've gotten up to this point. We've done these breakdown steps. Now we're going to put everything we've learned into a table. Again, we start with our y-intercept. That goes first. So we have 0 and 5. Now we're going to jump up, and if you've noticed, I've added x equals something and y equals something. So if we think about a couple weeks ago, we talked about what x and y represent. We remember x represents some sort of time. So x equals time, y equals the topic. So in this case, what's our time? What are we changing by? We see the word each week. So we have number of weeks. And for y, what's our topic? We have plants in his garden, so plants. Because that's what our whole story is about. So we know when he started, so at week 0, he had 5 plants. Now we have to look at our slope. Our slope is a whole number of 2. We know anytime we have a whole number, we can put it over 1, and that means the same thing. We need change in y over change in x. So I know on my y side, I'm going to be adding by 2. On my x side, I'm going to be counting by 1s. So I'm going to go ahead 7, 9, 11, 13. And on this side, we're adding by 1. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So again, I got my slope of 2. I made it a fraction. I added 2 over 1. We found our y-intercept of 5. I made that a point of 0, 5, and I put that in as my starting point. Now here's where the number of weeks in plants, which we practiced a couple weeks ago, is going to come in handy. I have this clarifying question of how many plants would Jackson have after 3 weeks have passed. So if we look, we have number of weeks. I can just jump on down to 3, and I can look straight across and figure out, oh, after 3 weeks, Jackson has 11 plants. So we can use tables to figure out how much of something or how little of something we would have after a certain time. Or if we're looking for, okay, I want to have 100 of something, how many weeks is that going to take me to get 100 plants or 100 stickers or 100 baseball cards or something like that? So we can use tables to kind of, to our advantage, to kind of almost see into the future or predict or make an inference of what's to come. So that's our first example. I'm going to go ahead and jump into our second one. Again, the same thing of Luke lives in Colorado. The first week he was there, he went skiing 3 times. Each week after that, he goes skiing 5 times. So we need a y-intercept and we need a slope. I see the first week he was there, he went skiing 3 times. So that's our starting point. He went 3 times in week 0. And then if we look at our each week after, he goes skiing 5 times. So I know my slope is going to be 5. I'm going to put that all together. Y equals 5x plus 3. Now I need to identify my x and y. Remember, x equals time, y equals topic. So what are we talking about? We're talking about skiing. And what time frame each week? Again, we have weeks, so number of weeks. Now it's simply pulling our information and making our table. We practiced this earlier in the week. Our y-intercept always goes first, so 0 and 3. We're adding ski trips, so it's, again, a whole number of 5. I want to make that a fraction because I need a y and an x. So on my y side, I'm going to be adding by 5. On my x side, I'm going to be adding by 1. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. 13 plus 5 is 18. 18 plus 5 is 23. So then we can keep going on down, and let's go ahead and read our clarifying question of, it says, how many weeks would it take Luke to go skiing a total of 32 times? So if we do 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 5 is 13, plus 5 is 18, plus 5 is 23. So then if we add another 5, so that would be after 5 weeks, that would be 28, plus 5 would be, so on our 6th, I'm gonna put it over here. On our 6th, that would equal 33. Actually, let's just go ahead and write on our question here. Our 6th one, that would be 33, at least 32 times. So after 6 weeks, he would have skied at least 32 times. So again, sometimes you might have to add to your table to get to your answer. Again, you can plug this into an equation, but we can use our table to pair up, okay, after 6 weeks, he would have skied at least 32 times. So those are your 2 examples. You can rewatch these examples, go through them. All of this we've done before. I just want to piece it all together and have us create tables from starting with a story, finding slope and y-intercept, making the equation, making the table, and answering those questions. If you go ahead and look at your worksheet, you have 6 other word problems to work through. Again, on your worksheet, your first page is the 2 examples. So if you work through those, awesome. What you need to submit to me is just these 6 problems on the second page. And all I need is your slope y-intercept equation, your filled in table, and then don't forget that little question, extended question underneath your table. Once you've done that, you can just submit back to our Canvas page, and I'll have it graded. Again, if you have any questions or comments, please reach out via email or Teams. I would be happy to help.